Welcome in, y'all. About 2 weeks ago, I made a video talking about the Beaplays allegations that came out during the Lady Gaga event controversy, which left me and many others feeling disappointed and disgusted. Thankfully, the Dress to Impress team fired her, and it seems like she's not coming back to the internet anytime soon. Now, I don't think I mentioned this in Beaplay's video, but before the allegations started coming out against her, a now former DTI Discord mod named Ender spoke out against the team, which led to several other mods speaking out about their experiences. There were allegations made regarding doxing, unprofessionalism, inappropriate behavior around minors, and grooming. Now in today's video, I'm mainly going to be talking about the DTI mod allegations. However, there are some things that were posted regarding the devs here and there, which I'll talk about as well. Now I'm going to be very honest, some of the screenshots and details are a bit confusing. I tried my best to piece everything together, but there are certain things that are unclear. Before we start, I just want to say this is not a hate video nor a call to action to cancel Dress to Impress. One of the reasons why I'm talking about this is because a lot of people in the community have been asking me to. And I also want to have a conversation about minors working in spaces like these. Whether it's developing, modding, managing, whatever it is. Is it actually doing more harm than good? Also, I know things have been feeling a little weird in the community due to all the stuff that came out. And it has a lot of people asking what will be the future of Dress to Impress. Lastly, I know some people have been asking me to make more positive videos, and trust me, I am, but I don't want anyone to feel like I'm ignoring this situation. And I believe the victims of this situation deserve for their stories to be heard. With that being said, let's start off the video by discussing Ender's statement. On August 24th, a now former DTI mod named Ender spoke out against the Dress to Impress team in their Discord server. I'm sure you've heard what happened. If you don't know who I am Ender, and I was a mod for Dress to Impress for 1 year. Over my year as a mod, I have experienced a lot. Today, after seeing the messages sent by the community manager, I could not stand and just watch it happen. In fact, I'm still surprised that a lot of mods did stay. It really questions their true morals. The reason I was banned is because I sent the message shown in image 1. In the screenshot provided, it shows Ender saying, "This is my resignation. Today was a horrible day, and it really showed the truth about the team and the childishness of the community manager. Staff have been talking about each other behind each other's backs. Horrible management, bye." Ender then says, "I want to elaborate on what I said in that message, because at the time of sending that, B was already questioning me and threatening to demote me. So I had to send that quick and only got those 2 screenshots. The handling of the controversy is insane. We were not allowed to talk about it or even do anything really. We would normally lock chats and then just go in the staff chat and laugh it off. I would constantly suggest reopening chats, but the other mods were busy playing Roblox or not caring. B was making the immature suggestion of unlocking chats and not caring about members." In another screenshot provided by Ender, it shows the head moderator saying, "I want the mods and helpers to cease discussion in the general chats effective immediately for the rest of the day. Moderation solely. No more attempts to redirect. It is only encouraging them further. Let them marinate and get their BS out. It is not helpful, and it will only make you yourselves and the other staff a further target." Then in a separate message, Sky says, "Some staff are failing to follow this instruction." B then sends a message that says, "Failure to follow will result in a strike." In the next paragraph of Ender's statement, it says, "Beaplays would make a fake announcement, then would go and talk badly about the community, showing how she didn't actually care, she just wanted fake accountability to make herself look good. We were going to be striked for talking in any chat other than the staff chat, because the developers lied to players, made snarky remarks, and refused to help us moderators who had nothing to do with it. That same day, they were talking badly about 2 helpers in the senior chat because they disagreed with their suggestion. They said we should stop talking badly about the community. Instead, they wanted to continue being negative and constantly talking the community. I spoke up about this and they didn't care. In image 3, I went to chat even though I was not allowed to talk in there. I simply showed everyone how my suggestion, despite getting approval from 100+ members, was disregarded. In the screenshot, it shows Anders sending a message that says, "How would you guys feel about an organized feedback channel that would be unlocked after each update so anyone can share their thoughts and opinions? I thought this would be a better solution to sharing our opinions in chat. This way developers can actually review it." And in this screenshot, you can see Beaplays responding saying, "Ender, why do you think this is acceptable to say?" Later in Ender's statement, it says, "The reason it was disregarded is because the developers never cared about feedback. They constantly call their community stupid kids and similar things to that. So B pinged me in the staff chat to silence me and I wasn't able to screenshot it, but I told her I don't care anymore. And she continued to ping my role. After 1 year of all this unpaid work for developers, I was done dealing with all the backlash because the developers wouldn't care. Us mods were the ones doing the events. We managed the chat. We managed the whole magazine and newsletters. All 50k tickets, about 100 tickets a day, bug reports, player reports, and not for a single dime. The devs would make horrible comments and we were the ones who had to deal with their immaturity." Beaplays made an apology and then went to staff chat to make fun of members. That is the reality of this and it shows no accountability. Now that we're done reading through that statement, it seems like there's a lot of issues behind the scenes regarding professionalism, specifically when it came to Beaplays. Now, out of everything said in the post, the most shocking thing to me is that the mods don't get paid. I was under the impression that it was a paid gig for some reason, maybe because of how big the server is, but I guess in general, most Discord mods are volunteers. However, based on Ender's statement, it sounds like the mods have a lot of work with no benefit. Even if it can't be a paid gig, it would be nice to gift the mods something here and there just to show some gratitude. I don't know if the staff ever did something like this, but I do feel like there should be some type of benefit. Now, if you ask me personally, I wouldn't do something like this for free. However, I do understand that some people just really like the game and would love to help out. I did see a screenshot where Ender says that the senior mods are being paid, which if you ask me, it seems unfair, especially if what Ender is saying is true. If the senior mods are inactive and everyone else who's working for free is doing all the work, I would have been quit. Now, in another screenshot, Ender says that certain staff members would bring up uncomfortable topics around minors, which we'll get into in a little bit. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I genuinely thought all the moderators had to be 18+. If you ask me, I feel like having underage mods isn't the way to go. There are so many messed up things that happen throughout the community that I feel like it would be handled better by an adult. Now, Ender isn't the only mod who was exposed to inappropriate behavior by an adult. The next situation we're going to talk about is where an adult mod was accused of exposing NSFW content to an underage mod. With that, let's move on to the next section. On August 24th, a Twitter user posted screenshots of a conversation between a mod and a Moye back in November of 2024. In the screenshot, it shows the moderator telling a Moye about a situation that happened between an adult mod named Alien and an underage member. The screenshot says, "I and another moderator have recently been made aware of an incident which happened in April of this year between one of our moderators and another member. The reports of the situation come from a group chat of members who have since been banned, but the screenshots were sent in another group chat and then shared with me by another member who was in the group chat. Admittedly, I am concerned that this has been brought up now considering the coincidental timing of promotions and banning of both parties. But the allegation is extremely serious and I urge you to look at it clearly as possible. From what I've been shown, on the 1st of April of 2024, Alien, who's 21+, and a minor who's 15 seem to be having a conversation regarding commissions of Alien's art. Alien sent a screenshot of their card to the minor, which contains the username of their Twitter, which then links to an NSFW art account. The link was not sent to the minor, but the account was easy enough to find that the minor had found it. In the screenshots, you can see that both the Twitter and the 18+ Twitter account are advertised within the card itself. I assume what happened is that they searched up the username in Twitter and found both of of the accounts. The NSFW account is linked in the bio of the Safe for Work one. I hope you know that the report holds no ill intent, as I have no issues personally with anyone on the team. I'm making it because the entire situation is concerning me, and I believe that you're the right person to share this with, and you will know how to best approach the situation. Now, before we look into Moye's response, I know that some people watching might be thinking, well, it said 18 plus, so why did the minor search it up? That honestly doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the blame does fall on the adult. Obviously, an adult can make whatever content they want, but you have to be very careful about who has access to it. I feel like it would have been easy for Alien to just censor the 18 plus username, or not have it linked under the Safe for Work one. At that point, the account isn't really safe for work anymore. Also, I believe on Twitter, there's a setting where you can mark your post as sensitive content, and users are only able to see those types of posts if they turn on the setting. I was unable to find Alien's Twitter account to check and see if the setting is on or not, but under the original Twitter post, a user replied saying, "Clearing up since I'm in the screenshot, the NSFW never involved minors, but it was easily accessible to a minor at the time." But in another screenshot, someone gives more context, and it seems like the Alien situation gets worse. One of the Dress to Impress developers sent a message on Discord that said, "Friendly reminder that the Dress to Impress moderator team let a 30-plus-year-old be a moderator and interact with mods who were minors, as well as asking for pics to use as reference for NSFW art. Team, you remember Alien, right? Alien? Yeah, with Mr. Alien, hahaha." Real quick, I do want to say an adult interacting or talking to a minor isn't inherently bad. It all depends on the intention and the type of conversation being had. Anyways, I was a bit confused at first what the message was referring to, but it seems that Alien and her husband were involved in the situation. Now, in the original message sent to Moye, the moderators didn't mention that Alien was asking for pictures from minors, but it's possible this could have happened in a separate occasion, allegedly. Now let's go ahead and read through Moye's response. After reviewing this and discussing it with HR, we believe Alien had no malicious intent. The minor is a part of the GC called Legend, whom after being banned due to breaking server rules have deliberately been trying to get Alien demoted and have been harassing her. She is an adult, yes, but she never directly sent her the NSFW account. The minor shouldn't have searched it up. And clearly, Alien didn't want a minor to have access to it, which is why she said, "I don't know your age, so I'll just send an image instead of the link." I think the minor is definitely stretching it, as it also explicitly says it's an 18 plus account on the card. Now, unless Alien intentionally sends her NSFW account link to a minor, then no further action will be taken. Editing me here. So throughout the video, there are several instances where the protection of minors isn't taken as seriously as it should be. Like in this specific case, it feels like it was quickly dismissed because the minor who reported Alien was banned, and it seemed like a retaliation attempt to everybody. Even if that was somehow the case, the situation should have still been handled more carefully. Just to talk about it a little bit here, this is pretty much why I feel there needs to be more adults on the team. I have no clue if the HR team Moye was referring to had adults reviewing the issue, but if it did, then they didn't handle it well. Also, it sucks that the few adults that were on the team were accused of and inappropriate behavior around minors. So while I do think it would be best to have more adults on the team to handle sensitive cases like these, they need to be vetted somehow, because it's ridiculous how many grown people were acting up in that server. Anyways, back to the video. Now, if you ask me, personally, I feel like this response was very dismissive of the situation. I understand that Alien didn't send a direct link to their card that had the NSFW account linked to it, but again, if Alien wanted to be careful about a minor having access to this type of art, she should have censored or cropped the name out. It really would have took like 2 seconds to do. I also find it a bit crazy that HR wouldn't investigate further, but I can't say I'm surprised because HR in real life jobs do this as well. Now, in another screenshot, there's a user that says Alien also makes NSFW art of minors, but that doesn't matter apparently. Again, this is all alleged, but just based off the fact that so many different mods and people in the community said that Alien's account was easy to search up is a really big issue. Now, I did find some screenshots of a doc created by an underage mod where they state they were friends with Alien. In one of the paragraphs, it says, "Despite me not knowing she was faking being my friend, I started finding out from people that she was sending her NSFW Twitter to minors. I decided not to believe it and defended her until she cut me off. And I went back and finally looked through everything and came to the conclusion that she was indeed a pedophile and had people in front of me. I believe the original doc got deleted, so I'm not sure if we're missing screenshots as of right now. Either way though, I feel like these types of allegations shouldn't be taken lightly and should definitely be investigated. Now, I don't know if Alien was removed from the moderation team or not, but if anyone has information on this, please let me know. With that, let's move on to the next section. I'll go ahead and start off by talking about Sky, the now former server manager. In the now deleted doc, there was a paragraph that talked about Sky. It said, "Sky is a transphobic cis man who has made multiple transphobic and NSFW jokes in public chat while being an adult." Now, earlier in the video, we also talked about a screenshot that was sent by one of the devs, and towards the end of the message, they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is Sky, current server admin making indirect transphobic comments. Hold them accountable." And in the screenshots provided, it showed Sky saying, #transqueen, that's me. I transitioned and I didn't even know it. And in the last screenshot, you see someone call out Sky for his behavior. The user said, "You don't understand what trans people go through. Apologies aren't just gonna cut it." Sky then replies saying, "Okay, I literally just got misgendered like a trans person would, but we move." Honestly, I'm surprised Sky remained as the server manager for so long, considering these messages are from March of 2024. I'm not sure if the Dress to Impress team ever spoke with him regarding his behavior, but based on what mods are saying, it seems like he continued this. On top of that, he would make NSFW jokes around minors, allegedly. That's pretty much all the information I found regarding Sky, so let's talk about Nini. In the screenshots, it shows one of the moderators speaking with Gigi. Gigi says, "Would you like to talk with Nini?" The mod responds saying, "I really can't because we're on the same rank, so there's not much I can do." Gigi then says, "Oh, I don't know what to tell her. Who's a higher rank?" The mod responds saying, "The only higher rank is really you, and I'm not sure what you should tell her. More so, I know it's going to affect the reputation of the game to have her on the team. Members are spreading this information and it's getting out of hand, and I was going to leave it be. But I understand that as an admin on the server, I should also have the game's best interests at hand. I don't think we should keep Nini on the team while they're like a whole adult talking to children. Because if this gets leaked on Twitter or anything, quite frankly, the game's reputation is like over." Outside of the doc, there's a screenshot that shows a message sent on Discord from an underage mod. It says, "Nini was a towards me and other underage staff members, and when it was brought to Gigi's attention, she failed to take action and instead relied on someone else who reluctantly banned her a few days later." Now, based on the response sent by a moderator named Kyle, which we'll read through later, it states that Nini was already removed from the team over a year and a half ago. As for Sky, he remained on the team until recently, where he was removed alongside with Beaplays. I'm glad that Nini was removed a long time ago from the team, because I'm sure if they remained, they would have harmed more individuals on the team. I'm hoping the minors affected by Nini's vile actions are safe and are able to heal from the situation. Now, there's one more individual that we're going to talk about named Serenity. I know we're going through a lot of information, so if you need to take a break, please do so. With that though, let's move on to the next section. Starting off with the now deleted doc, there are two different sections where Serenity is discussed. The first section says, "Serenity, who is an ex-staff member, doxed a minor and she hasn't been held accountable. She remains in the server and is praised. She is still friends with staff who defend and cover up what she's done. Keep in mind, Serenity is an adult." And in the other paragraph, it says, "Serenity has doxed a 14-year-old, sent her is an the apologist, and called another former staff the arsler after saying she was autistic." Now, some of the claims on the doc are backed up with screenshots that I found on Twitter, but I was unable to find anything that confirmed that Serenity sent to a minor or that she's an the apologist. The first image shows someone sending a screenshot of a conversation between them and another user talking about cultural appropriation. Serenity replied saying, "Oh my god, not that R word." Then there's a screenshot that shows a moderator, who I'm not sure if they're an adult or not, but her and Serenity were spamming the word that refers to a body part in the private channel that minors had access to, allegedly. And apparently the mod who leaked the chats between Serenity and the other mod was demoted because of this. Now this next screenshot is a little bit confusing, but it states that Serenity allegedly had matching NSFW profile pics with other people. And it seems that this happened while Serenity was still a mod for Dress to Impress. Honestly, I'm at a loss for words. Like, the further we go into the video, the more frustrating I get with how things were being managed. Now, based on what I read earlier, Serenity has already been removed from the staff, but she's possibly still in the server to this day. Now, there is a separate occasion where mods dox the user during a community event. I'm unaware if any of the mods in the situation are minors, so I'm just gonna censor out their names. However, just to let y'all know, one of the people who participated in this was Nini. With that, let's go ahead and move on to the next section. The video was originally posted on October 1st of 2024. Now the YouTube video is only 3 minutes long, but the full 20-minute video is over on Twitter. To give context, the mods held a community event called Confess to Impress. This is where users were asked to submit their anonymous confessions, which would be read during a Discord stream. And the winner, which I guess means the person with the most embarrassing confession, would get rewarded 500 Robux. The majority of the stream is pretty much the mods reading through confessions and laughing at what people said, but towards the end, the hosting mod creates a poll asking the chat if they should reveal who posted a specific confession they read. The majority of the chat voted yes, so the mods revealed who it was. However, during the reveal, the emails of these people were leaked. Here's the clip.
One of the people who's saying no is definitely one of those people. So just
exactly, we're about to find out. Anyways, we're about to find out. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Who's that?
The leaking of the email.
Oh, it's okay. They're fine.
They'll live.
How many people? I love this game. I love how we can
expose that right now. Expose that right now, bro. Expose that right now.
Exposing emails?
Expose, please. Please expose. Someone make a poll.
I'm doing it. Nobody else do it. I'm doing it.
I'm literally doing it. I've done it.
I'm just deciding to.
The email?
I think it's crazy how the mod team kept egging on the situation and try to brush off the leaking of the emails as nothing. I don't think anybody participating in this event expected their emails to be leaked. Not only that, if any of the people who had their emails doxed were minors, that would be an even bigger issue in my opinion. Now there's a couple of things that weren't disclosed regarding this situation, so I'm not sure if these mods are still on the DTI staff or if they got removed or demoted. The situation was over a year ago, so it's possible they're not a part of the team anymore. However, I don't have confirmation of this. In the next section, I'm gonna go over a few other experiences that some of the mods posted about, and after that, we'll finally be in the last section of the video. The first one I'm gonna read is from an ex-mod where they stated they had to work on tickets while hospitalized for an emergency surgery. In one of the screenshots, you see Ender talking in the Discord and then someone replies saying, "Reminder that there was an ex-staff member who was hospitalized and still had to take care of chat/tickets during the last summer of 2024 update." And then the ex-mod who was hospitalized responded, "Hi, this was me." Someone then asked, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I hope you're okay." The ex-mod responded saying, "I was all good. I had to have emergency surgery and I worked throughout the recovery on tickets and chat because everyone was inactive for some reason." Now the screenshots don't clarify if they were forced to work on tickets or if they were asked to do so despite being hospitalized. So I'm not sure what exactly happened, but it's possible if the person didn't work on tickets or chat, maybe they would have faced some type of repercussion. However, that's just me speculating. In another screenshot, a former QA tester for Dress to Impress spoke out about their experience during that time period. The user said, "For a good 6 or 7 months, I was a QA tester for Dress to Impress, and the sheer amount of unorganized mess in the team was ridiculous. We were never told when we were supposed to be testing. B would ping us 10 minutes before, expect us all to hop on despite time zones, and then would blatantly ignore us when we'd report any bugs unless we'd make a ticket. When I resigned, I didn't even receive a thank you for the free work and time I contributed. She asked me for my Roblox username and removed me from the testing team." Now, it's no surprise that Beaplays would do something like this. Throughout this video and the previous one, we've been able to see how Beaplays truly is and how she's not good at managing anything. However, the mod team was already having problems before she joined in. Now let's finish off this section by reading through the response that was sent by one of the mods on August 26. "Hello everyone. To preface this statement, we'd like to extend our apologies to everyone who was affected by the recent allegations that came out regarding our now former server member and ex-staff members. We wanted to take the necessary time to fully understand the concerns raised on our current and former staff before responding. We deeply apologize for the wait, and we really hope this explanation will provide clarity to your concerns. First and foremost, we owe Ender a sincere apology. The way his ban was handled was unnecessarily harsh, and we fully acknowledge that. At the time, we were operating under leadership that has since been removed, and unfortunately, we had no authority to challenge or overturn decisions made by higher-ups. We ask that you consider the limitations we faced during the situation and how it unfolded. Ender has since been unbanned under our new management. Please know that we're committed to creating stronger staff procedures and management structures to ensure this doesn't happen again. To address the allegations regarding our current staff members, we found evidence to terminate Sky from his position as server manager and removed him from the server. The principles of his behavior did not align with our server guidelines, and we sincerely apologize for the damage caused by his actions. We deeply appreciate the community for bringing these concerns to us. This will be a massive step forward to revamping the current team. Regarding the claim of staff members slating others or engaging in inappropriate conduct, these accusations have not been sustained with proof from former or current staff members. Any disrespectful or inappropriate comments made against anyone have always been treated under our server guidelines. Moderators are not exempt from rule-breaking behavior and are subject to warnings in the form of strikes for conduct such as this. If you do have any proof of disorderly or inappropriate conduct regarding the current staff team, please do not hesitate to reach out to the HR team. That said, our current moderators are also being heavily targeted for remaining on the team. Their decision to stay is not to support any of their past behaviors with former staff, as we do not condone it whatsoever, but rather a commitment to supporting the server through the difficult time. We urge you all not to exert pressure on them, as they have no involvement or awareness in the allegations against B and Sky. On the subject of former staff members, we are aware that there were allegations surrounding staff members who were already terminated, specifically a staff member named Nini. This former staff member has not been affiliated with our team for over a year and a half now, and has permanently been removed from our server. We understand that information regarding this member's termination was spread quickly, which makes it easy to understand where this misconception came from. Channels will be slowly reopened once the moderation team has recovered from losing our management team. We will communicate and work with you guys on decisions regarding the server's future. We understand and recognize that it will take time for the community to rebuild their trust in the team. Moving forward, we're dedicating to fostering a healthy environment where users can communicate their issues with recent events while keeping it moderated to ensure the safety of our community members. Thank you for being patient and understanding with us during this time. Now that we're finally caught up, let's move on to the final section. So there have been a ton of situations separate from Dress to Impress where minors are hired to join a dev or moderation team. Some teams are great at implementing different ways to keep minors safe amongst the team, while in other cases it might not be as safe. Now, minors working alongside adults is common online and in the real world. However, there are some adults that both in real life and online have malicious intents, and it's not always possible to know who's dangerous and who's not. Even with background checks, a predator who's never never been convicted or caught of doing anything nefarious could easily get hired and work around underage people. This can also be applied to the online world. However, in both cases, when a worker makes the team or company aware of a sensitive situation, it should be handled with care. Unfortunately, the majority of the time, HR isn't necessarily looking out for the workers, they're looking out for the company. So I don't doubt situations like these also happen in Roblox development and moderation teams. But the question I've been asking myself for a while now is if minors should be hired on online spaces at all. Just to give some examples, I believe a month ago or so, an underage developer revealed that Roll High had not paid them for their work yet. But after the online backlash, the developer was paid. Now in another situation, 2 minors that were hired to work for an upcoming game called Monsterverse came forward saying that the owner of the game named Peach IP grabbed them. The full details of the situation weren't originally given, so it was a bit confusing. A few days later, Peach came out with a doc explaining the entire situation with evidence to back up her story. Based on what was said, the minors broke their NDAs, which before anyone says it, you are correct, a minor cannot sign an NDA. However, an adult or guardian can on behalf of the minor, which makes it a legal contract. Now, when the minors broke their NDA agreement, Peach wanted to pursue legal action, but the addresses provided on the NDAs were fake, which apparently is illegal to do. This led to Peach sending a disguised Pinterest link to one of the minors, which IP grabbed them. After this, Peach was able to serve the minors' parents with papers. Even after Peach came out with her doc, people were still questioning the morality of her actions. Peach agreed that it was morally incorrect, however, she was legally allowed to do this. Now, during the entire situation, a lot of people were saying how minors shouldn't even be hired in the first place. Peach disagreed with the statement, but I still ask myself this question. While the minor would be able to gain experience and attention from their work, things are more difficult to handle when someone is under 18, since their legal guardian is responsible for them and boundaries can get blurry. Also, even if they weren't underage, in general, there needs to be some type of protection for your employees, especially from harassment from other people on the team. Now, in regards to the DTI mod situation, I feel like there's a chance that the tickets submitted could discuss sensitive situations that minors shouldn't be exposed to, so it just makes sense to hire adults and avoid that overall. I also feel like an underage mod could potentially feel taken advantage of since they're not being compensated. But besides that, the fact so many people came forward saying that adult mods were making NSFW jokes or acting inappropriately around underage mods is crazy. But is the solution truly not to hire underage mods or developers, or should there be better management amongst the team? Personally, I still can't decide if not hiring minors is the end-all be-all solution. But I definitely feel like there needs to be better communication, management, and organization when it comes to the Dress to Impress mod team. Currently, Dress to Impress opened up applications for both a new community manager and mods. I'm hoping this time around there be better choices made and that sensitive situations brought to higher ups are reviewed carefully. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video. I really appreciate everyone who stuck around till the end. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the situation. Do you think minors should work in spaces like these or no? Also, what changes do you think would improve the Dress to Impress team as someone from the outside looking in? I'll see y'all in the next video.